To Be or Not to Be and The Lottery are dystopian short stories. At first glance, the underlying theme of both stories is that sacrifice for the greater good is right. But in reality, both of the stories use sarcasm and irony to show the actual theme or message, which is that sacrifice for the greater good is ridiculous, even if it intends to help the greater good. In To Be or Not to Be, every person except for the painter and the new father sees sacrifice as the solution to population control and the most appropriate option to end all options. The painter, highlighting the author's true message, paints the real view of how the world actually is. "What's your idea of what life looks?" said the orderly. The painter gestured at a foul drop cloth. "There's a good picture of it," he said. "The world could do with a good deal more mess, if you ask me." The painter, who is painting the mural of The Happy Garden of Life, sees life as a wretched place that needs messes. The painter hints of going against the theme of sacrifice for the greater good in what is really good. The sarcasm comes later in this story when the new father kills himself, Dr. Hitz, a well-known doctor, and Leora Duncan, a gas chamber hostess. The painter, having an opportunity to make a mess in life and kill himself, decides to call the suicide hotline. Therefore, the painting Happy Garden of Life is never finished, making a sacrifice for the greater good. In The Lottery, the underlying irony is the name. In this story, men in a town pick pieces of paper from a box. Whichever man has a black dot on their paper, his family is made to redraw. And then whoever from his family picks the black dot is to be stoned to death. All to encourage heavy rain for their crops, thus providing food for the greater good. The title is ironic because picking to be stoned is not a lottery, but a game of Russian roulette. Both of the stories use forms of irony and sarcasm to show that a sacrifice for the greater good is in fact not good, but horrible. Another comparison of these stories is how each story has people sacrificing themselves or being killed. In To Be or Not to Be, people kill themselves or are killed in order for children to come into the world. In order for babies to be born, a person must die in their place. From a personal level, I think that is quite disturbing and horrible, and I believe anyone else would think that too. The story states the reason for this is population control. As the population had gotten out of hand, the government decided to set population limits. The government put into law that if a child is born, someone must sacrifice themselves or the infant shall be killed. Suicide and death in the community of To Be or Not to Be is not looked down upon, but of the utmost regards. As a suicide operator says, your city thanks you, your country thanks you, your planet thanks you, but the deepest thanks of all is from future generations. In The Lottery, every year someone is killed so that the community can have thriving crops. As Old Man Warner says, lottery in June, corn be heavy soon. They believe that someone has to be sacrificed so that their community can have heavy rain from the crops. They stone and kill one single person for the crops or the heavy rain to come so that their lives can be full and rich again. The weird thing about this, though, is that even people's families stone them because it is seen as normal in their community. So, both of these stories have a lot of similarities, from the irony and sarcasm to suggestions of sacrificing for the greater good, which actually isn't all that good.